Hi, I'm Barry. This is Mega City Gaming, and this is the next part of the Shattered Stormvault build and paint. Enjoy. So, I have primed the lot. Here's a picture of my priming setup, my spray booth, which is on the balcony. If you have a garden, that's probably better. Then you don't really need a box. If you do have a balcony, that's great. You can use an Amazon box or whatever. I used to use an Amazon box, but my Amazon box got destroyed in a typhoon. But anyway, so I'm using a plastic box now, which is also storage for my sprays because I store them outside, which maybe I shouldn't. Who knows? Anyway, so I sprayed the lot. Sprayed the lot. Look at that. That is usable. Like that. I would use that. Nice. Obviously it's grey underneath. So what I'm doing now is I'm just checking that it's fully sprayed. I know a couple of bits kind of stuck to the newspaper, and when I pulled it, the bit of the primer came off. But I think these are fine. Yeah. So go through everything and check there's no missing bits of primer. Right, by the way, I used what's it called? Wraithbone spray. I also have Wraithbone brush on primer, which I will use to touch up the bits that didn't get got. Yeah, that looks alright. Yeah, so I know some of these didn't. Some of these got the columns. Columns, you say. Some of the columns stuck. There it is. I found one. Right. Yeah, some of the columns, when I pulled it off the newspaper, it went and it kind of. Yeah, as you can see right there. So, got my painting station. So, in the case where there's a bit missing, like that, that is really obvious. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see it. So, take a big old brush. This brush is about 3mm and it's flat. This is like a 100 yen brush, which is about 50p, I suppose, depending on time of year and the exchange rates and stuff like that. Right, so I've got a bit of what's it called? Wraithbone. That's it. Cover that up, and just so it's uniform. Actually, I think that was that's actually a bit of newspaper stuck to that. Yeah. Bit of Wraithbone. Yeah, so I just scratched off that bit of newspaper that was stuck to it. There we go. That's nice, that's lovely. And here, the spray didn't quite do the job, so I'm going in and touching it up a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah. Right. So I'll get on and do the rest and get back to you. I have finished brush priming the bits that didn't quite get enough spray, or the bits that stuck to the newspaper. Not so many bits. Also, I didn't go all the way. For example, this one, the primer is it's there, but it's not so much. So it does look like it's darker in the recesses, which is kind of, they call that a zenith highlight, but it's not really. This isn't a zenith highlight, but it looks like it. So the primer is there, so the paint will stick to it, but it's not there enough to make it a bright light colour. So I didn't go in and brush prime under there because I think it looks cool the way it is. Right, next thing I'm going to do is I didn't spray prime the tiny bits like this because the spray has a force, and if I just tried spraying this, it would just blow away and I'd lose it. So I'm going to brush prime these little bits. I didn't stick them onto this because I want it modular, so this can be used as a platform because it's the same height as some of the other stuff, or it can be used to put this on. And I didn't stick the flame in there because I will have some scenarios where I have to light the flame, light the torch, boop, and then it's lit, or put the torch out, boop, and it's gone. So I like this, the way this is modelled as well, so it does literally stand up on its own in there, so it's great. It's perfect for narrative scenarios made up on the spot by myself. Yay. Right, so I'm going to brush prime them, and also I didn't do that one because I didn't want to get primer all up in the insides, because it needs to clip onto that. So if you get primer in there, it'll be a bit more difficult to clip. Yeah. Right, I think that's the way it goes, isn't it? Doesn't it? Wasn't it? Shouldn't it? Yeah. Right. So I'm going to brush prime them. I didn't do the sconces because I haven't stuck them on, and I'm not going to stick them on because they'll just snap off, and it's easier to store without them, and I don't really need them, and I might use them for something else anyway. So I'm going to keep them, put them in my bits box. Yeah. Right. So you don't really need to watch me brush prime these, so I'm just going to do that right now. I have brush primed these bits. I've brush primed them, and I've also painted these flamey basket things with what's this, gunmetal grey, or anyway, it's basically what's it called, bolt gun metal, or lead belcher or something like that. Yeah, I think lead belcher, because I've refilled this with GW paint, so it's lead belcher. But anyway, it's kind of like a dark metallic. So I've just painted those, and I've just started painting these flamey bits. So I brush primed them, and then I used Fire Dragon Bright, which is a GW paint. Basically orange. It doesn't. You can use any old orange, right? And I went in with a kind of a thin brush, and I did like the internal bits of the fire, which actually is not how fire works. It's not how fire works at all, really. Should be the external bits, but whatever. It's going to be wrong fire. I screwed up. Doesn't matter though, because what we're going to do is we're going to use contrast Eandon yellow. So just contrast yellow, or you could use like a watered down yellow paint if you want to do that. I have painted flames before a few times, but it's I do it differently every time, and this time is going to be different too, so I have no idea how this is going to turn out. Let's find out, shall we? So contrast paints some of them need shaking a lot, like the white one. That separates out quite a lot. Some of them, like this yellow one, doesn't need shaking very much, but you should shake it anyway. Shake it up, shake, 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 shake. And it doesn't matter if you get paint on the skulls, as in like yellow paint on the skulls or whatever, because we're going to go in with a skull bone type colour, and just touch them up a little bit when we're done with the yellow of the fire. Right, so I've got a big old brush. It's like a 3mm flat brush, very cheap. I use this for most stuff nowadays because I bucket paint, speed paint, bucket paint, whatever. So I'm getting a blob of this Yandan yellow onto my palette. Take the flame, and wow, that's pretty orangey. Right, and you can still see the orange inside. The actual orange is more orange than, yeah, so it shows through, so it's cool. But don't worry, it doesn't look like fire yet, but we are I'm gonna go over it with a white dry brush. Yeah, so blobby blobs, Mr. Blobby, all over. Yeah, of course it's all blurry, but you get the idea. So the orange bits still show through because it's contrast, and yeah, there you go. Right, so it's all, that took me like literally couple of seconds. Right, I'm going to put that down and do the next one. So now the contrast paint has dried. Took a while. Contrast does take a while to dry, and I'm going to go in with the white dry brush, and this is ceramite white. It's discontinued, but any white will do. I'm just using this because I have it. Of course, this particular ceramite white, one of the reasons it might have been discontinued is because it's not very good. It needs shaking a lot. Since I've moved it to this pot and I put a lump of metal in there, it's a lot better behaved. But when it was in the GW pot, it would separate out and it would be like porridge. But anyway, you don't need to know any of that. Basically get some white paint, a little bit on the palette, there we go, a little bit of white paint on the palette, get the cheap ass brush which I use for everything. I buy like 5 of these at a time, and so even though I do treat these like crap, they last remarkably well. I've had this for about a year, this one. Right, what I do is I get most of it off, and then like women do, or people that wear makeup, not just women, but makeup people, they brush a bit off on their thumb to see. Yeah, I brushed a bit too much off that. Yeah, there we go. Right, let's dry brush in that. Yeah, there we go. Just getting the raised areas. It's magic fire. It doesn't follow the laws of physics, which means the white bit would be in the inside. It doesn't do that, it does the opposite. It's magic fire, if you didn't know. Right, well that looks a lot bloody better. That looks a lot better. Of course you can't see it. Focus much? Do you even focus, bro? Yeah, whatever. Anyway, bit of dry brush. It looks so much better. I might as well just do the other one while I'm here. Yeah. Just dry brush, just like that. Bum ba bum, ba 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 bum, ba ba bum. And with a dry brush, it's too little is better than too much. Too much is difficult to reverse, so wipe off as much as you can and go in, and then if it's if you wiped off too much, then go in with a bit more, you know. Yeah, but it should, yeah, like, there you go. And you're just getting the raised areas, and that does look a lot better. Wow, that looks bloody good, man. Does look good. Right, next, because it's a dry brush, the paint is pretty dry. You know, it's not going to rub off. So I'm going to go straight away into. I might use a thinner brush for this. Right, so this is a thinner brush. This is a Army Painter hobby base coating brush. It's very old and it's starting to splay. Looks like an old pair of shoes. You know, I don't really want to replace it. So, because we're not actually doing any fine work, I can use it. So. What am I using now? I'm using Game Colour Bone White. So Game Colour is by Vallejo, and it's basically exactly the same colours as Games Workshop used to have in their previous range. But whatever, just a bone colour basically. Any bone colour will do, because we're going to put a wash on it anyway, so just get a bone colour. Any bone colour will do. Right, there we go. Splop, that's a real word. Splop a bit onto the palette. It's a real word if you didn't know. Splop a bit on the palette. And then I'm going to go in, I'm going to paint the skulls. Kind of like a overbrush, which means I'm drawing the paint across the surface. I'm not sticking the brush into the eye sockets or the mouths, because there's an F in that word. Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you do get paint in the eye sockets and that, because we're gonna put a wash in it. So it's kind of like similar to a dry brush. A dry brush is extreme, but this is like going at like a 45-degree angle across the details, so I'm not getting paint in the holes. And this colour is quite similar to Wraithbone anyway, so it doesn't matter if you miss bits. There you go. Right. Awesome. Yeah, of course can't see any of that because of my camera, which is why I don't normally do painting videos. I'm doing the other one now because it was so quick. Yeah, I don't normally do painting videos. Don't do no painting videos because my camera is crap. Even though it's I bought it to do videos with, and it's great for headshots and such. It's no good for gaming and no good for this kind of stuff. My iPhone is a lot better camera than this. But anyway, it's different. It's a webcam, so that's why, because it's designed for focusing on a face rather than anything small. And all kinds of stuff like that. Right, have I done the other one? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's it. Okay, that is looking freaking awesome. I wish you could see it. I will take some photos when it's all done and post them up. Right, next.